Afifa Hamilton's near Chichester. Good afternoon to you.
Oh, hello.
You're a nutritional lecturer, I'm reading here.
Yes.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, actually, on that subject. There's an email in front of me here which struck me as very interesting. Christopher writes this: I once taught social nutrition to medical students in London. I took them to a local supermarket who allowed them to roam the shelves to buy a healthy trolley for 2 days' food for a family of 3. We then retired to the training room and went through the trolleys with the local district dietitian and myself. They all failed, mainly because the labelling did not allow informed medical students to make healthy choices. Their response was anger at the food system that clearly blocked their patients from buying healthier food even if they wanted to. What do you make of that?
Well, that's quite funny, isn't it?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it?
The medical students and the medical education on nutrition that medical students get is extremely distorted. Guess who by? The food industry.
Well, how can they distort that?
I can tell you exactly how. I have just been invited to a one-day conference at the Royal Society of Medicine in Wimpole Street, March this year, and the speakers, at least 2 of them who I've looked into, at least 2 of these speakers, what the subject of this conference is, how to enforce and reinforce and get the public to accept the food recommendations, the dietary guidelines of the government. Now, the people who are chief lecturers in that event are in the pay of Mars and Coca-Cola and other food industry bad guys.
Right,
now,
I think we have to be a little bit careful, Afifa, before we start labelling bad guys and before we start naming names, if you don't mind me interrupting on that.
Bad guys.
Go on.
Mars and Coca-Cola, don't tell me they're not bad guys.
Well, that's for you to say and for us to say to Mars and others that they have the right to reply on that. But go on.
They can reply. They can talk to me directly.
Okay, fine, go on.
Right, so those people in the pay of those companies are being used at the Royal Society of Medicine to teach GPs and bamboozle them about what really good nutrition is all about.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got a bunch of GPs who are clearly intelligent, well-qualified people. Are they really going to be, to use your word, bamboozled by that?
That's exactly what happens.
Bamboozled?
They get a maximum, let me speak, they get a maximum of 1 hour on nutrition, and what that nutrition education is all about whole grains. Now, because that is what the guidelines for this country, this government's guidelines are, that you should have most of your calories from whole grains. Now, I can tell you that whole grains, broken down in the body through the physiological mechanisms of your body, turn into glucose. Glucose is exactly what half of sugar is. Glucose. Glucose drives insulin. Insulin is the fat storage hormone. So you will be guaranteed, if you live on grains, to get fat. That's the physiology of it.
Okay.
So grains and sugar are all carbohydrates. Carbohydrates cause obesity. Not only obesity, they cause cancer.